All right, let's see what we can see from these charts to see where we're heading. Get rid of this, we don't need it. This is the monthly chart for the CME chart, and we're going to do a little bit of dubious speculation here. Nothing here is financial advice, it's just a bit of fun, really. So take with a pinch of salt and do what you want with it. So let's look at this CME chart here on the monthly chart. Okay, so we're going to look at the monthly chart for Bitcoin, and we're also going to look at the monthly chart for the perpetuals as well. So what you can see here, right, is you can see that we've got this big selling candle here, and that selling candle is controlling the market at the moment. We are on our middle of the band, KC band. That's where we are. And the 21 is sitting below it, and we haven't closed below the 21 yet on the monthly chart. I don't think we'll close below the 21 this month either. And I think we'll probably go back and take some more of the liquidity sitting on this candle back first before we continue the leg to the downside, which means that these EMAs will keep moving up. The 50 will keep moving up. So 50 on the monthly SMA sitting at 57,182. It will keep moving up. The 50 EMA is sitting at 65,000, so it will keep moving up whilst this thing keeps inching upwards. Now, if you look at the monthly chart, you can see always here you have this big selling candle here, all right, similar to that one there. It's similar in volume, right? So if I put a kind of a line across it, you can see similar in volume. This is actually even bigger volume selling candle. Now we would expect that more of this liquidity will be taken, of the liquidity on this candle to be taken similar to how which happened here. Okay. So if we comparing, this also brought us down to the middle of the band, and we went up first before continuing the leg to the downside. So that's what I'll be expecting here. I mean, if I bring the liquid index, actually, let's finish the CME chart. And if you look at the weekly charts on the CME chart, they closed a positive green candle, and we closed above the resistance on this candle here. So with that in mind, there could be a small pullback. Yes, maybe back to about, wick to 92, maybe 92.8, 93,000 is possible. And then you continue to go and really test this here, which is the 100K. But I think if you look at it from the monthly chart, then you would say we will wick above it, because on the monthly chart, I probably would say this is our resistance point, right, which is sitting around 110. So if you bring it back down here, we will potentially go through this 50 first, create a lower high, and then continue the leg to the downside. Similar to how you don't see it here on this weekly chart. You don't see it on the CME chart, but maybe we might be able to see it here. So here, right here, the 50, come below the 50, and then we go and test the 50 here. We couldn't really shoot above it much, but if you look at it from November 21, I'm going to look at November 21 on the chart, on the monthly chart. So November 21, October, November. I see that the candle that we formed was not really a big candle like this one here or like that one there. So that's slight similar differences in there. And if we bring it back to the perpetual chart for Binance, what you can see here, and again, it's a very similar story. Let me get my 1, 2, 3s off. You can see that we actually closed exactly on the middle of the band, and we closed on the 21 on this one, and now we seem to be having some move up. So I would expect this to continue inching up and inching up to, to somewhere around the 109, 108 somewhere there, and even maybe we might overshoot it a little bit before we end up coming back to test the 50. Now, I want to bring the BLL Bitcoin Liquid Index as an example. And you can see here that if I just hide my numbers, hide all drawings, yeah. Now, you can see here that whenever you come, let's come here, whenever you come, you go for a high and you come back, you have these big selling candles here, back to the 20, the middle, right? And you always go back and take the liquidity around the big selling candle, right? So that's what we did here, continue the leg to the downside. If you bring it further and have another further look at the other one as well, where we come to the here, you come to the middle of the band, and again, even this one, you did take liquidity off the candle that came to the band. So the whole liquidity was taken first before you continue the leg to the downside. Here as well, you can see here, this is the candle that touched the middle of the band. And again, you took all the liquidity off that candle before the final flush. And if I go back in time a bit more, you would see here as well that here is a similar story as well. You come to the middle of the band on the month, you do a bit of a switchback. I call that switchback to take liquidity, and you then come back down, right? Flush. So, you know, in the history of Bitcoin that we know of, that's how it always plays out. So until it changes, that's the rhythm on the chart, and we stick to that rhythm. So I would be expecting the Bitcoin would creep up, creep up, creep up, at the very least about 109-ish. It can overshoot it a little bit like we did over here, overshoot and maybe even create a new all-time high. It can do that. You could do another all-time high and then collapse properly back to the 50 EMAs to then really form a bottom that is buyable. So this is just a mini rally at the moment. So that's Bitcoin in terms of where we see Bitcoin heading. So that's Bitcoin. In terms of altcoins, I think because Bitcoin is going to do this bounce up, the altcoins could do some movements to the upside. So, you know, you could get some 50%, 100%, 200% moves on some coins to the upside on most of the coins, which are quite oversold at the moment. But again, that's just a mini bounce as well. The real moves are coming. So here, for example, on IMX, you can see, you know, we could bounce all the way back up to about 0.7. You know, we could go all the way back to 0.7 and potentially overshoot it and then come back down again first to form a lower high or a lower low when Bitcoin comes back down. And that's the buying opportunity. And you know, the likes of Fatcoin, again, similar. It could continue bouncing up and come back to retest this 9 on the month, which is sitting around 51. So it could come all the way back up, overshoot it a little bit, and then continue the leg to the downside as well. ICP could do the same as well. You could have ICP come back again and retest maybe somewhere here, around $9. Could do something like this again, or at least to about $6. Could push up first and then do a bit of a pull down to form a lower high, or a lower low, or a triple bottom, which would be the buying opportunity. So a lot of the coins are kind of set up like that for altcoins. I mean, even if Ethereum, if we look at Ethereum is potentially the same. So, you know, you could have Ethereum shoot all the way up here and even could go all the way up to, like, you know, a new all-time high. It can do that before you get kind of a collapse, because it's respecting the R50 EMA, which is kind of like the line in the sun. So there is liquidity all the way up to here. So don't be surprised to see Ethereum hit somewhere around, you know, 4.7, 4.6, 4.7, and face some resistance there. If Bitcoin collapses as we expect, then this comes all the way back down to the base, which is around 1500 or 1600. So that's what we've seen on crypto. I just want to have a look at the equities and look at the stuff that I like to trade. So you got like silver. So let's have a look at silver. So silver has been on a tear. We've had our move there, we had our move here, and we're taking liquidity off this. You're always going to take liquidity off a big selling candle like this. So we've taken the liquidity off here. Volume is strong, volume is good. There's no anything that I can see here on the month, which suggests there's a problem. So it could keep inching up a bit more, but we are in the overstretched territory. We are three standard deviations on the KC band, so we could potentially zip up a bit more on gold here. This is gold. You could zip up first before coming down. And if we take it up on there, sorry, this is the month, so you can see it's quite we're closing. If we close above this candle, then that's no problem. But the volume on the month profile is not good. The volume is not. If you close like a low volume like this, then potentially that'll be the end of the move, and you may get a small move to the upside before you collapse to the downside. So I think coming week, if we go to maybe lower time frame to see what's going on there, again, you've got a big selling candle. These guys, they don't like leaving liquidity. So you can see we've taken almost all the liquidity off it before. But we are firmly below the EMAs. So there's a good chance that, we come back a bit more first, and this gap becomes an attraction. They tried to close it, they couldn't. So potentially we come down a little bit more on gold first. So the lower time frames are not giving a good signal for the continuation. And here is weak. This is this is weakness. This is weakness. RSIs have all rolled. They've all rolled. So potentially this could be maybe a small move to the upside. And then you continue your leg to come and test the 50 before. They basically went for these candles here, taking the liquidity, and they've taken all of it. They've done that. So maybe I think gold potentially becomes one that continues the leg to the downside. There's nothing for them to go for that I can see on this 4-hour chart. They've gone for the liquidity here. And if I go on a 1-hour chart, that liquidity is this one. Okay, there's a bit more left, so it could keep going, inching up a little bit more first, maybe to about here, 4-6, before you get a movement to the downside. Right, so we can see here on the gold 1-hour chart, you can see it's been trying to break the middle of the band plus the 50, and that liquidity has been taken. So you could try a bit more, could try one more time, but you would expect this to roll over. So that's gold. Silver. Let's look at it on a monthly chart first. So again, you can see that the volume profile is getting weaker. Okay, it's right in the 3 standard deviation band, and it will have to mean revert. The band is sitting around 45 at the moment. It's currently at 45. Is it 45 or 71? 71. Let's say it keeps moving. So yeah, about 75. So there will be a mean reversion to at the very least 75. So this profile here, you're going to have all these candles will have to be recovered, especially this one here, still not 45. So there's a lot of a pullback coming on gold on silver when this move finishes. Let's look at it on a weekly chart. So on a weekly chart, you can see here we've got a solid close. So I'd expect this to go higher first, at the very least. So I think you could be expecting a little bit higher than here, maybe 95. maybe 95, 96, somewhere there. If we bring it to, say, the 4-hour chart, we'll get a more influence on it. We're still in a strong position here. And this candle is a rejection candle, so we're going to go up a little bit higher. So this is going to go higher to probably to the 95, 96. That's when you would get your correction coming back down. So silver goes up higher slightly first as well. So that's silver as well. And I probably will look at the Nasdaq and the SPX quickly, briefly, and that'll be the end of it. So if we look at it on a weekly chart, so not looking good on a weekly chart. So we closed below the last week's low here. And kind of mixed in terms of candle profile, but I think for me the monthly chart is the key. We're still looking strong. We're still not even below the 9. So this is a strong chart. And you know, you can expect a bit more grinding probably to the upside on the SPX. If you go bring it 4 hours, let's see where we're on 4 hours. We're still above, the middle, the 50 EMAs. So I think they'll take some of they went to take the liquidity of this. They've done that. And so here, we've closed below this attraction candle. There's still liquidity to the upside. I think this thing will grind up next week. It will keep grinding up. It will grind up. Yeah, it will grind up. It will keep grinding up a little bit more. Um, bit more grinding up on the SPX, I think. Before you get it's cooling off, but I think there is potentially a bit more grinding up on it before before it finally collapses. I mean, it's not looking good on momentum on the daily. It's not looking good at all. Um, the RSIs have all kind of rolled, so it's not looking good from a momentum and strength perspective. So any grinding up is to take liquidity. Would be what I would say is to take liquidity, and you potentially may end up coming down to about the 6,9, 6,000 zone as a pullback. It's a decent pullback. So that's the SPX, the Nasdaq weekly chart, complete red close. I'd expect us to take some of this candle back, even if we're going to go down. So maybe 25760. If we bring it to 4 hours to see what's going on, and exactly what you see is a big fat selling candle, still sitting on the 200. So I'd expect them to take some of it. I'd expect us to take some of this candle back. So I won't be surprised to see it, it go back up above here to somewhere around. Yeah, take liquidity of these candles here first, even if we're going to go down. So certainly the weekly saying I will take some liquidity first before I go down. You don't get these red candles and just gallop down unless it's one of these big ones. So I'd expect this to take some of it back before anything happens. So, but it's looking bearish at the moment. There's a bearish divergence on this candle. There's a bearish divergence on it. So any move up is just supposed to take liquidity, um, based on some of our indicators. So that's that one as well. And is there anything else that I normally look at? I think that's it. That's all I want to have a look at. So I wish you all the best, and there will be good times coming for altcoins, to buy cheap altcoins, to buy cheap Bitcoin. So don't get FOMOed into it. All right. I wish you all the best, and we'll catch up next week.